to be here today with her because she has been very inspirational for Jerry and I. We've really been able to get into the creative spirit and use our imagination with Clyde. And I just want to show you Clyde real quick. This is Clyde. He's visiting us for the summer, and we've had so much fun on social media with videos and pictures and little gifts and stuff, traveling around with him. But yesterday we got a new surprise from his sister. He has a sister. Her name is Cece. And she sent him a postcard yesterday. I don't know if you can see that. It's from the Danish capital of America, which is in California. And this is what she wrote to Clyde. So Clyde was really excited to get this. I'll tell you, we're having so much fun with this. And this is Cece, who is in the care of Margie Elizabeth Smith. And we've been kind of having a lot of fun with her. So I know you'll be talking a little bit about this project. So I'm not going to take up too much time, but I just wanted to let you know that we are so grateful to you for helping us to get inspired and creative and really have some fun with crochet and everything else. So thank you. So anyway, let me introduce you and we'll get started. This is Charlene from the Cheerful Chameleon. And I met her recently because of this project. And I was really curious about her business and what she does and how she does it. And I knew that some of our readers and our listeners would be too. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah. So my first question for you was, I was curious about if you had some kind of passion in the arts or in business, or if you just relied on mentors to help you get started in your business.
For me, it basically, I don't have any former business training. I am winging it as I go, as I like to say on times. I actually got started with crochet. My best friend found out she was having a baby, and I was like, oh, I want to make you something, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And I came across this owl pattern online, and it's by a very talented designer, The Hat and I. You guys have probably seen it if you're familiar with the crochet world. It's the Owl Obsession blanket. It's a gorgeous blanket with a bunch of owls, and I was like, I need to make that. Problem was, the last time I picked up a hook was when I was 8 and my grandmother was trying to teach me, and I really had no interest in learning at that point in time. So it was a challenge, and I ended up getting a sewing machine around the same time because I was going to try to pick up some sort of hobby to do. And my sewing machine barely gets used. I picked up the crochet hook, and that was pretty much it. So that was how I got started. And I made her the blanket. It took probably about a month. I was determined. Determination for me has always been my biggest inspiration to get me moving. If I'm determined to do something, it's going to happen. So I ended up starting with the blanket and winging it as I go. And then I was like, well, maybe I should, look into possibly selling some of these creations. Well, then I found out in Florida, there's a little bit more into that. In order to legally do so, I had to become a sole proprietor, which meant that I had to basically become a business. So it was either, am I going to do this or am I not? And of course, I was like, well, I'm going to do this. Now, when I do something, I want to succeed. So it's kind of been this ball rolling that all started because I wanted to make a gift for a friend. And it has been, this was back in March of 2016. And then in May of 2016, I decided that I wanted to learn how to design these patterns that I was making because I have always sketched stuff out and I was very into the graphic art side. Like I've been doing Photoshop drawings and stuff for a decade. So I was like, I could turn some of these drawings into cute little yarn critters. And that's how I started with the design. My first designs were a set of sugar gliders. I still have quite a few of those patterns in my shop today. And somebody was like, that's really cute. You should really design the patterns. And I was like, that's what I think I want to do. So that's how I kind of became more of a business design side of the crochet industry and designing these cute little critters to make for other people, or other people to make.
So that's really cool. And I understand that you use pattern testers for your patterns, and you're constantly updating them.
Yeah, as soon as I design something, I don't just automatically write it down, put it out in the world for everybody to make. I want to make sure that when people are making my designs, they can make them without many errors, like stitch counts being off. Maybe I have the wrong stitch listed in a certain area, spacing issues, commas out of place. So every time I create a pattern, I send them out to a handful of people. They work it up, they error check it, they make sure that everything can be understood. I'm not speaking char speak, as some of them have called it, because I'll put it in my own, and they'll be like, this makes no sense. And I'll be like, okay, let me try to translate it. Because like sometimes I have areas where it's not just a cut and dry, you know, single crochet, double crochet. It's like you have to twist it this way and put a stitch here to hold it. And a lot of times I'll get a little bit colorful in my inscription, and they need to go like, no, this makes no sense. My phoenix that I have is a perfect example of that, because I had to remake the tail completely.
So could you show us some of your sugar gliders and your other things that you're talking about?
Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. This is my phoenix. As you can see, the tail on this is really fluffy, and it uses a fun fur yarn. And when I first made the first version of this, the tail, it was my first time really working with fur. And the tail got a little bit twisted in some areas, which looked great because it looked like it was flames kind of coming out of the tail. Problem is that none of my pattern testers were able to match what I did, and none of them were able to match each other. So it was like, okay, well, there's something here. So I ended up going back through and rewriting another tail. And this is the remake of the tail. So you can see it's still fluffy and still pretty, still can curl, but it's not quite my original design. So that was where pattern testers helped me get a pattern out for people to actually recreate with little to no issue.
Can I ask you a question about him?
Sure.
Is the tail made of yarn or feathers?
It is made of yarn.
Yarn.
It uses,
wow.
Yep. It uses, I actually have one of the skeins here, and my Clyde adventure, one of the prizes is some of the fur that went into it. And it's a fun fur yarn. And it uses that. And then just the loop stitch of regular worsted weight yarn, which is the average yarn for most crocheters are familiar with. And you just cut the loops and you use a pet brush and you brush it out, and it makes it all nice and fluffy.
That is so cool. I crochet actually, but I do, you know, small things like baby blankets and scarves.
That's not a small thing. So, and then I have my little sugar glider. She just came out. My little Sassy, I just released her.
Aww.
And she's a little stuffed animal, little amigurumi, and she's my newest one in the family. And they got two of them because you got to have pairs. And then this doesn't use safety eyes, but this is one of my lovey blankets that I made down so that it's not a strangling risk for little children as they play. And then little.
So tell us a little more about, I'm familiar with your Clyde summer vacation, but tell our listeners more about it so that they can find out what's going on and how to get involved and what they can get for being involved.
Absolutely. It is a fun event. I had was reaching my 1 year anniversary, and I was like, I really want to do something special for being a designer for 1 year, which was in May. And I was like, but I kind of want to do something that gets everybody involved. And I was like, what can I do? And I had my chameleon pattern, which is Clyde, in the works at that point. I was tweaking his design, getting ready to release him. And I was like, I can make an event with him, and this will be really fun. So I have Clyde, which is a free pattern that you can find over on my website, which is thecheerfulchameleon.com. And he is free to make. I do have a PDF form if you prefer the stylized PDFs on my Etsy for $2, but you do not need it. It's more for those people that prefer the extra pictures and stuff that it comes in, but it's completely free to make. You basically make him up, and he can be made in any colors, any kind of yarn. And then you take him on the road or take him around your town, and you take your camera phone and you just snap pictures of him doing things that lizards would do when they're on vacation. I know Margie, as you mentioned earlier, her and thank you so much, by the way, for this, because you guys have done way more with this than I ever imagined.
We've had so much fun with it, and it's all over social media. The boat trip and driving with Jerry and all that. We've gotten a lot of.
Me look slacking because I've been so busy the past 2 months. I'm getting ready to start as it gets closer, because this event goes until October 20th, so you have plenty of time to make and take pictures. I'm going to start posting more stuff. I know in August I started with the flash giveaway events that have been going on to keep the blog. I've had some eye giveaways from you guys that you guys have sent me. And that, again, thank you for that. They're really loving that. I just put the Starburst eyes up this morning, and that's gone over big. So
that's good. That's good. I'll have to check my site and make sure we've got you on there.
But I haven't released the actual prizes yet. I've just been given teasers, and on my Instagram this morning I showed the bags. I separated them. This bag is the first place bag, and it is jam-packed to the brim with all sorts of yarn, notions. We've got a bunch of eyes from your guys going in there, and then there's some hooks. There's all sorts of fun stuff. And how do you win these prizes? Well, when you take your pictures, you send them to me. There's an email address, Clyde@thecheerfulchameleon.com. It's all on the information on the page. I'm going to upload them into the gallery there. And then in October, people are going to vote on their favorite pictures. And then the top 3 photos that are chosen from everybody are going to be winning these prizes. And then if you don't win one of those 3 prizes, I'm going to put your name into a random drawing, and I'm going to pull 3 more winners. And then those 3 winners will receive not quite as big bags as the photo contest, but they're still going to get yarn and patterns. I have some pattern designs that have been donated from designers as well as myself. And they'll get a little goodie bag as well. So there's a chance, even if you don't have I'd really like to do this, but I don't have a real fancy camera, or I'd really like to do this, but I don't really get around anywhere to get these creative pictures. You still have an opportunity to win just by sending in any picture. You could be sitting right on your shoulder going, oh, here's my Clyde, and he's helped making me work this project. You may not win compared to some of the creativity of others in the photo, but you still have a chance to win a prize. So definitely enter. Even if you're just like, well, I'm going to be sitting in the same chair all summer long. Where am I going to go? Take a picture of him sitting there watching TV with you. I mean,
it's right. A way to enter. Well, I'll tell you what, Margie Elizabeth has really used her creativity with
She's
this.
Put me to shame.
I understand.
I love her posts.
Yeah, me too. I understand that the yarn that is in part of the prizes is kind of a special yarn from. It's not like something you can find locally.
No, I have a lot. I do most of my yarn that I get comes from Wool Warehouse, which is actually a UK-based company. I use a lot of Stylecraft, which is I don't think I actually have any. Oh yeah, I do. The Stylecraft Special DK. I use a lot of this, and King Cole, which is another one, and Sheepjes or Shepjes or Sheep. I can't ever pronounce it, but I use a lot of those yarns in my day-to-day. And because of that, when I order, it's easier for me to order some of the prizes and do it that way. So I've been collecting these prizes since January, a lot of these. And there's the King Cole, like I had the King Cole Bamboo is one of the yarns that's going to be going into the top 3 prize packages.
That's pretty. That's really pretty.
Yeah, it's really soft too. It's a bamboo cotton blend, and I have them going in the top prizes. The first place has some ice yarns. I don't know if you guys are familiar with ice yarn, but you order these from Turkey, and they come in. You have to buy like so many per package. So I had this sitting left over on my shelf, and I'm like, well, it's only one skein. And I'm like, you know what? Perfect thing. Put it in the prize bin. So this is going in. It's super soft. It's another DK weight. I have a lot of DK weight yarn going out.
Cool.
Because I just, living in Florida, I found I like working with the DK yarn a lot better because it's not as hot in the hot months to work with. So, and then I just have some cotton, and here's one of the Stylecrafts that's going in the first prize bin. A lot of color because Clyde's all about color.
So, I know.
Some of the mandala.
I noticed. See?
And then this was a big craze. the mandala yarns. Everybody flocked to these when they came out. So I have some of the mandala yarn. And then I have if you are allergic to wool, I don't have a lot of wool blends. It's mostly cotton and acrylic, but this one does have some wool in it. So if you are allergic to wool and you win, I will substitute these out with a mandala yarn. So that is an option. Yeah, because I know
that's
not
very
everybody
thoughtful.
uses wool. So
there's that sounds cool. I'm going to put links on this Google Hangout. There's an area where you can put information because it's going through YouTube. So I'll put links for everybody so they'll know where to go for all these different things. Because I also understand that you sell your patterns and also have free patterns on Ravelry. Is that correct?
I do. Yeah. I have I think about 70 patterns as of now. I'm looking to, by the time the holidays roll out, have closer to 100. I have a lot of them in the works right now that I'm planning to get out in the next couple months. Mostly small projects. Like I have my little bath scrubbies that everybody loves. And they're stuffed with little bath poofs. So they're either, you make them as like a little scrubby bath toy, and then they can just go right in the wash.
So cool for Christmas. You know,
they do. They make great little stocking stuffers, and then you can use them and just throw them in the wash with your washcloths and towels, and they wash right up very well. Or you can make them stuffed with the stuffing instead of a bath scrub and make a solid bottom, and then they're the perfect size to put on like a little lovey blanket or just as a little stuffed animal, like a little bunny stuffed animal and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to have those up. These are up currently. All the patterns I've shown you today are already available. But I have a ton of them, and I have some freebies, and I'm working as I build my website up more. I'm going to have more and more freebies come up. The website is still pretty new. I launched that in May when I launched Clyde on Memorial Day weekend, and summer's pretty busy, as most people know, for a lot. You know, summer tends to be the slower month for productivity. So now that it's getting into the fall and the colder months, I'm going to start getting more and more stuff up on there too for free. So definitely stay.
I'll make sure I put the information about the Cheerful Chameleon online for everybody. And I thank you for coming today. And I have one more announcement. It's a little announcement. And I don't know if you can see this or not. It says Sydney, Australia. It's an apron that I got from my daughter, who is also part of our business. She does a lot of our social marketing. And we are going to Sydney, Australia in October. And if you live anywhere near there and would like to meet up with us, we would love to meet you and talk with you. If you're an artist or a crafter, working in small business, whatever. But anyway, we'll be in Sydney in October. So drop us a line at info@GlassEyesOnline.com. and we'll figure out a way to hook up. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.